All right, all right. Sadrina here with View Magazine. Welcome, welcome. I have Miss Kiana Dancie here with me. What's going on, Kiana?
The Kiana Dancie. Hey, sis.
Yeah, Kiana Dancie. All right, let me put that on. Okay. Well, look, let's go ahead and get into it. So, give us because you're a host, a comedian, an author. You got your new book out now. So let's go ahead and give us a little bit of your background. Let the people know a little bit about who you are.
So everything that you said is accurate, but you neglected to say that I'm an entrepreneur. I am a franchise owner. I own a CPR cell phone repair store here in Duluth, Georgia, 2200 Duluth Highway, Suite B102, Duluth, Georgia, 30097. Just in case you want to run up. I am one of two Black women that owns within the company. Now, keep in mind, my mother, my brother, and myself are all partners, but my mom and I are the only two Black women that owns within the company, and I feel like that is quite an accomplishment because it was very hard. And if you know anything about franchising, being in a male-dominated white industry, well, you already know. So, yes, I'm all those things, but I'm very proud of that accomplishment too.
Yes, I love it. So it's in Duluth. As you said, it's a cell phone repair shop, right? In Duluth.
Cell phone repair store, CPR. And yes, we repair all things from anything mobile, your computers, your phones, your tablets, laptops, of course, drones, anything mobile we repair. But we also sell things. We sell cell phones, we sell PlayStation 5s, Xboxes that everybody's looking for right now, and also cell phones. So if you can't get approved anywhere else, you can come to our store and we can get you approved.
All right, all right. I got you. So,
that cat is funny. I've never had an interview, girl, that the interview been crashed by a cat. What is this cat name? Now, I'm gonna call your cat Diddy. Hey, cat Diddy. Oh, Diddy the cat, all up in the video. My dog, I put my dog in the hunt. I threw a bone, she went to running. Now, your cat, I don't know what you gonna do, sis, because she done showed up multiple times.
I was gonna lock in a room and then she would have started meowing from the room.
Well,
so I'm
right.
trying
I'm
to.
not mad. I like cats, so we good. But I've never had my interview crashed by a cat.
She's crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and keep it going. So you're entrepreneur, everything going on. So we're going to get into the book, but I want to get into, because I know you have a long history of being a TV host, a comedian. How did you really get into the entertainment field in general?
You know, funny that you would even ask that question. I always have been in the entertainment industry as a child. I was an actress. I was a tap dancer. I used to dance in the African dance troupe. I was in a play called Babu's Magic. Shout out to Chuck Davis. So I've always been I played chess. So I've always been in the industry. I was a catalog girl. I modeled for some, for the down to the catalog as a little girl. But my mother kept me very, very busy. And whatever that was, to keep me out of the streets per se and out of trouble, is she made sure that I was, my time was occupied. But I went professional as a stand-up comedian basically after a dare. Mine dared me to start doing stand-up because I would invite all of my girlfriends over to my house and we would have drinks and, eat. And I would tell my friends about my stories of me making up and breaking up with my ex. We were together for 10 years, so it was plenty of stories,
Oh,
And one day she said, girl, you need to tell these little piece of stories down on stage. I said, wait a minute, girl, you want to laugh at my misery? She said, yes, because it's funny. And so I said, I guess. And so I went, I did open mic. They didn't throw fruit at me and they invited me back and here I am. So, it is what it is. I definitely love doing stand-up, but I think my true passion is sitting on TV.
Okay. But it's interesting because the stories that came from your stories about you and your ex. So it's almost like you turn your pain into what your profit is a career. So
yes, I'll tell you, one of the most accurate things that Kevin Hart has ever said in his entire life is that comedy comes from pain. And at the end of the day, I remind people all the time, the same energy that it takes to laugh is the same energy that it takes to cry. So as you notice, my book is called Bye Bye Bags, Laughing to Lighten the Load, which means, sometimes you just got to laugh at your situation. We know that life will throw us all kind of blows. It's not about how you respond to that blow. It's if when you get hit and you go down, how long you stay down and how you get up, because you have to get up because the blows are going to come. And then you sometimes have to step back and just laugh at it.
Yes.
Baby, you better laugh at your traumas and your dramas.
Mm-hmm. I love, and let's go ahead because you mentioned the book, so let's go ahead and get into the book. Give us Bye Bye Bags. Where did that title come from?
Girl, let me tell you where the title came from. Okay, so y'all know I'm very honest, and I tried to keep it as real as possible. So I got the bags under my eyes removed. I was getting a surgery called, start with a B. I can't even pronounce it. I call it baggage removal. I got the bags under my eyes, and as I was laying in bed, I was like, "Oh Lord, I'm gonna be so pretty, honey, when these bandages come off my eyes." And I kept thinking about all the things I was gonna do, all the pictures, all the gigs I was gonna get. And God whispered in my ear, he said, "Sis, you're gonna be real pretty on the outside, but you got some work to do on the inside." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you real pretty on the inside, but you on the inside, pretty on the outside, but that inside is ugly." I said, "Wait a minute. Who call her ugly?" He said, "You." So as I started thinking about that, I was like, "Ooh, maybe he's saying something there." So I started really paying attention to the inside. Like I was working on my outside, removing the bags, under my eyes. Didn't want to look tired. Wanted to look refreshed. Wanted to look like I turned back the clock, because I am in an industry that is really, it's all about how you look and of course your talent. But once I went through that process of healing, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to remove the baggage from my eyes, I need to remove my emotional baggage. I need to remove anything that I'm carrying that does not bring me peace or joy. So as I did that, I called my mom, and sis, let me tell you something. I called my mother. I said, mommy, come up here. And she was like, girl, I'm not coming up here. I said, come upstairs. So she ran upstairs. I said, grab a piece of paper. She said, what you want? I said, grab a piece of paper, mommy. So she said, what? I said, write down these 3 things. I had my mother write down one thing that reminded me of an insecurity, one thing that reminded me of a shortcoming, and one thing that reminded me of a failure. I have to write it down, tear it up, and when I was able to, I burnt it up, because I made my mind up that I was not going to be held captive or hostage by anything that did not bring me joy, peace, or satisfaction. And if it didn't, I'm telling you, I encourage you to do the same. And as I start unpacking my emotional baggage and the things that didn't bring me peace, baby, let me tell you something. That outside started matching that inside, and that inside started matching that outside. Come on.
I love that, because like you said, and I want to kind of go back to the beginning of when you started talking. You were saying that you got the bags removed from your eyes, but God told you, like, look, yeah, you look good, you look cute, but on the inside, it's a lot of self-work you have to do. And I think that speaks to a lot of, especially with social media, it's like people, they only post what they want you to see, but inside they still filled with a lot of trauma, a lot of baggage,
a lot of drama. A lot of drama. And see, the thing is, social media is allowed all day long. For every good picture you see, there was 35 ugly pictures. There's probably 100 ugly pictures. So everyone that posts on social media, they post their best, they post their highlights. They're not posting their failures, they're not posting their shortcomings, and they're not posting their insecurities. What you need to do, honestly, is just be transparent sometimes and just look yourself. If you can't look anybody else, look yourself in the mirror and say, I have work to do. I am a child molestation survivor. Let's be clear. I'm a child molestation survivor. So we want to talk about the bags that I carry. I was a child molestation survivor, and I couldn't declare that I was a survivor because I didn't allow myself to be a survivor. I was walking around here a whole victim. How and why? My mother asked me, she said, Kiana, why don't you ever talk about, what you've been through as a child molestation, victim? And I said, well, I thought it made people look at me bad, made people look at you like a bad mom. She was like, baby, let me tell you something. I did everything I could to protect you. I didn't serve you up to the monster. You didn't molest yourself. I thought that man loved you. I thought he loved us. So at the end of the day, you need to learn that if you cut on that light, you will realize that you're not the only one in the room. Boom. So when I start talking about it, everybody, people who have been through what I've been through, was me too. And when I told my mother, she didn't support me. And when I told my father, he didn't believe me. Men and women who have all been through the same situation came out, and it gave them the courage to speak up.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was just one of my bags. I lost my other baggage that I carried was I lost my dream job as a host of Sister Circle Live. Didn't know that was coming. Who knew? I celebrated second season, girl. I was popping bottles like I was going somewhere. Channel. Look, check out chapter 10. Get into it. And then the last bag that I carried, I was with the same man for 10 years, 19 years old to 29. Who knew that I was not going to be a wife? Although the man asked me to marry him multiple times, I said no. Every time he asked me to marry him, it was an escalation of desperation. But here I am in my 40s, single with no children, and I felt some kind of way about it. And I was like, girl, nobody that's walking around with all this baggage and dramas, girl, get your life together. So I had to unpack it all to become a better me.
All right. Just trying to get us situated. All right. No, so and what I want to ask you too is how did you really I guess have the understanding that I need help? Because a lot of people, they do think that they have it all together. And even with somebody else maybe telling them, it's still like, that they maybe find it hard to comprehend or even hard to go through that self-healing process. So how did you really find the courage to do that?
So first of all, when you're going through the first thing you need to do is acknowledge that you do in fact have a problem. No one is walking around on this earth without any baggage. No one is walking on this earth without have been through some things. So when I realized that when things weren't going right for me and I was too quick to blame everybody for the problem or too quick to blame people for the issue, I had to start to look around like the common denominator in all of these situations is me. So I had to be very transparent and honest with myself. And sometimes having those conversations with yourself is hard. And it literally, it feels crazy because you're talking to yourself like, girl, the problem is you. So I will answer your question just like this. It was hard. It was very hard. But as I started looking around, no one else was in the room but me. Every time that there was an issue or a problem, it was me. So I had to fix me. But this is what I will also tell you. And I want everybody, man or woman, listening to me. We all carry baggage. We all have it. We all got bags. Bag lady, right? We got it. Now, whatever your shortcomings the failures, wherever they are, they don't define you. You are your bags until you decide to not be your bags. So even when, listen, let me tell you something. Your bags will show up in your relationship down to your job. They show up in your eating habits. Your bags will be in the room. Even when you leave, people are going to talk about, ooh, she was so mad. She was so bitter. All that baggage that you carrying, it shows up. But see, you don't want to keep walking around with your bags. You need to get rid of your bags so you can get you some luggage, sis. Hear me closely. There's a difference. There's a difference between luggage and baggage. You want to know what it is? The difference between luggage and baggage? Let me tell you something. Baggage holds you down and holds you back. Baggage holds the back growth. Baggage holds back process, prosperity. You can't excel with baggage, but you need to unpack your bag so you can get you some luggage. You want some luggage, friend. You want to go on a little vacation, little girls trip. You want to go without all the dramas and the traumas. You want to go being free and happy, but you can't do that while you all walking around with this baggage. Simple.
I've never heard it broken down like that. The difference between baggage versus is that in the book too?
I don't, no, that part is not in the book, but it's going to be in addition to. You come to one of my speeches, come to my little TED Talks. Yes, ma'am. It's in the speech.
I love it. I love it. And, definitely give us, where can people get the book at?
Well, first of all, tell your cat. Let me tell you something, Fred. I'm not mad about this cat at all. Hey, kitty. Okay, so you can get my book on my website. If you get it on my website directly, you will get an autographed copy and a small gift. It's a token of my appreciation at kianadancie.com. But you also can go to Instagram, and the link to the Amazon is in my bio. Hint, follow me. But you can get on Instagram. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Target. You can get wherever they buy books or sell books, you can get it there. But most importantly, don't forget, you can get it on my website and it will be an autographed copy.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you too, I want to ask you a little bit about mental health, especially when you talk about getting rid of baggage and trauma. How have you really, or how were you even when going through that process, able to keep your mental health in check, and even some things that you do now to really just stay sane throughout balancing, so many businesses and different things going on?
You know, it's funny that you even asked that because let's be clear, I'm no one's therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a minister. But the people keep saying I'm an evangelist. I don't know. I know the grace of, let me tell you something. What I do know very well is the grace and the mercy of God. He has been good to me. And even when I wasn't good to myself, I turned to him and I said, God, you got to fix this because that bridge look good. You know what I mean? I've never been suicidal, but I'm just telling you, I have been to a breaking point where I felt like there was nothing going to work for me. My back was against the wall. Where do I turn? So I honestly started with prayer. And I know that everybody, you know, you can't, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Prayer without works is dead. So you can't just pray and think it's going to go away. I subscribe to PCP. What is that, sis? Let me break it down. Prayer, first and foremost. Okay? C is couch. You have to be, it takes a lot of courage to sit on somebody's couch and say, I'm going through and I need some help. And you know, people of color are the first people to not do that. We will not go talk to nobody. We'll talk to our friends who are not equipped. We will go talk to our mom or our homeboy Bubba. And none of them been through, look, they may not even been through it. And if they went through what you're going through, they don't know how to function through it either. They still struggling through it. So prayer, couch, and when you get on that couch, that professional might need to write you a prescription. Do what you got to do to take care of you. I just told my homeboy yesterday, you are no good if you won't have no peace upon you. No good. If you're walking around here at war with you, you're not a good father. You can't be a good husband. You can't be a good friend. You're a terrible employee. You're a terrible you. Now, you don't want to be bad to you. So you got to find some peace in you. You got to find some joy in you. So at the end of the day, go get you some PCP, prayer, a couch, and a prescription. And don't be ashamed to say that you need any of it.
You know, you said some powerful stuff. You said you told him about being at peace because that's important. And a lot of people, I don't think people understand how powerful being at peace is and being focused and really just having a clear mind, you know? And like you say, if you're not at peace, you can't be a good, if you're a husband or wife or a father or mother, any of that without peace. Mm-hmm.
I'm a single woman. It took a long time for me to kind of come to the conclusion that my husband is looking for me with an atlas. He don't have the Google map. He looking for me with an old school map quest. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. It takes a lot to be, you know, comfortable in your skin, but it also takes a lot to accept your current situation. But know that your current situation is not your final destination. You have to make a decision that right now, whatever you're dealing with is temporary. And then you have to find peace in that temporary situation so that you can be blessed with a excel. You can't be propelled to the next level if you steady. No, find peace in your belly that all things work for the greater good, and what you're going through is just temporary. It all flows. It all moves. Like the water don't sit still. Like if you put a boat or you don't want to put a little ducky in the water, that ducky don't just sit there. Ducky moves because the water is flowing. You got to believe that the water is going to flow. It's going to move. And if you believe in Christ, you got to know that even though, listen, let me say something. You may not be worthy, but eventually the oil going to flow. You may not be worthy, but God going to bless you. Keep living. Keep living.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Look, you giving us a whole word over here.
A whole word, sis.
A whole word.
You. Because I'm not even supposed to be here. Too many times the devil tried to kill me, but the devil is a whole lie. And the devil, listen, the devil is not bigger than my God. And the devil, let me tell you something. I don't care what he do. It ain't, my story is written and it's written and I got to complete the story. So what I will tell you, no matter what you're going through, you're built for whatever you're going through. And you may feel like, oh man, my life is over. No, it ain't. It's not. I promise you it's not. You may not be meant for it, but you're built for it. So keep pushing. All things will be all right.
Look at you. Look, I can only imagine what we can expect in the book. Bye bags.
Bye bags is literally, I'm pouring my heart out. I'm very candid about a lot of things that I've been through in my life. And I want to remind everyone who reads my book, even if you don't read my book, there's one exercise that I want you to do. And I'm encouraging you to do the same. I want you to write down the one thing that reminds you of an insecurity, another thing that reminds you of a shortcoming, and another thing that reminds you of a failure. Write it down, tear it up, and burn it up. And many people want to ask me, why burn it? Because when you burn something, that's a reflection of renewal, to start over. It's like in the forest when they do control fires. They're firing and they're burning or underbrush. The underbrush stops anything from growing that needs to be there. You need to start anew, sis. You need to get rid of all the gunk in your life. Now, let me tell you something. My girlfriend said, well, can I burn the man? No, girl, you can't burn the man.
Not burn the man.
Can't burn the man, sis. But I mean, you can burn, maybe you burn something that you did in that situation, or maybe you I just don't burn the man, because even though I got bail money, child, I don't know what that's.
Yeah, just leave a man out.
Leave a man alone, girl. But just go for right relationship and burn that up and move on. You hear me?
Yes. I think that's a thing too, especially when it comes to relationships or really any type of ship or friendship or, business partnership. I think a lot of times, sometimes it's better just to let it go. But I think as humans, we want to, maybe it's a pride and ego thing, but it's like we want to hold on to the man or to the woman, even though we know it's not good for us. But when it comes to, healing the internal bags and the trauma, like that's important to really just be okay with, like this person just wasn't, the friendship wasn't for me, the relationship wasn't for me, it just wasn't for me. So
there's only two relationships is really, in my opinion, in this order. It's three, actually. You have to have the relationship with the ultimate God Almighty. Then you want to make sure you have a relationship with yourself, because you got to take care of you. And then everybody else fall in line behind that. So if you have a husband, or if you have a wife, or if you have children. But I'm going to tell you, it starts with the head. And the head of my life is Christ. Now, I don't know who y'all pray to or what y'all got going on. But I'm just saying, if everything else in your life is reckless and out of order, start there. And he'll get you together. I promise you he will. So go ahead and, align all things. Once you get right with Christ, you get right with yourself, then you get right with your family, and watch what happens. It'll be all right.
I love that look. I love it. And like before we get ready to wrap up, what are some things you got the book? What are some other things there? Book tour, or what else can we expect from you?
2022 is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I have a book tour. I'm hosting the Black Authors book tour. Don't even know that launch date. I don't know a lot of things, but you can always go to my website, kianadancie.com, to get the information. I have a lot of irons in the fire, thank God. And all I need is just a little grace. Y'all, please just give me a little grace, because everything's going to fall in line the way it's supposed to be. But I love the fact that you guys are always consistently supporting me. I don't call my supporters fans, they're family. They're my family and they're supporters, but more importantly, they're my Dancie darlings. But what I'm also challenging them is to become fire starters. Go ahead and do just what I said. Write whatever is reminding you of an insecurity, a failure, or a shortcoming. Write it down, tear it up, and burn it up. Become a fire starter with me, sis. Let's do this thing. And I ain't saying burn the man or the house.
We burning all the baggage away. All the
baggage, girl. Burn that baggage so you can get you some luggage. We going on vacations this spring. You hear me, girl?
I love it. I want to ask you something too, as a creator, right? Especially as a comedian and really just a creative, because I know me being a creator myself, like it can be, sometimes you might get like or I don't know, maybe you don't, but do you ever find yourself like just having a block, or really just in a creative funk? Like how how do you work through that?
All the time I find myself in a creative blah, you know what I mean? But the thing is, it's okay to walk away and start anew. It's okay just to set it aside and come back. I'm gonna be honest. I went through that with my book. I introduced my books years ago, like right when I was on Sister Circle. And I was like, I kept reading it and I didn't like it. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't happy. And my mom kept saying to me, Kiana, this is an evolving story. It's never going to be completely the way that you want it to be. It's never going to be exactly, perfect. So, drop the book, introduce the book so that we can have another book. Now, I don't know about another book. Girl, this book was like having a baby. But it was definitely a challenge for me. So I had to push myself and stretch myself. And that's the same thing for my comedy. As I'm evolving, People who have seen me in the past maybe like, oh Lord, I've always been saved, but and I'm savage, you know what I'm saying? But more of my save is taking over my savage. It used to be savage and then I was saved. But what's happening with me right now is with my relationship with Christ, I'm changing some. So that's changing my stand-up. And I don't even know what that looks like, sis. I don't know what to talk about now. I'm like, well, can I say the word with that curse words in the Bible? Because sometimes I like to cuss. You know what I mean? But so we have to, and I have to be mindful that everything I do need to glorify the kingdom. And I don't know what that means. I mean, sometimes when you're talking to people, like, even when I'm talking to my friends, well, not friends, but people that don't really know my relationship with God, they be like, I didn't know you was like this. And I was like, well, you don't really know me. You know what I'm saying? I have friends that pray to crystals and to the rocks and the suns and the moon. Girl, ain't nobody over here praying to no rocks in the sun. I spent Holy Spirit, you better help her. But and I'm not passing no judgment. It was what's good for you is good for you. But it's definitely a challenge, where I am right now. I'm having to stretch myself and find how to be creative through this new world. So don't at the end of the day, you step up, you walk away from it, you come back, you start go back to what even ignited the creativity in you. So that's what I would say, and it's okay to take a break.
Yes. Breaks, it's important that you mention that, because I know me myself, like I've been guilty of it's like go. It's like you're doing here, yeah, this event, this person. But it's like for me, even over the past like year and a half, it's like sometimes God will have to sit you down.
God set us all down, whether you believed in him or not. He sat us all down. He said, oh, y'all think I'm playing? Boom, same time. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to tell you, even though it was a terrible, it's going to be a terrible, when we go back and read the history books, how many people died, how many lives lost, how many things were affected, this, and the radiating effect that was caused, by COVID. If you a believer, you got to know that God controlled this and the good and the bad. So why he allowed it to happen, I would never know the answer. But I am telling you, he was fully aware of what was going on. He knows what's going on before we would ever know.
That's facts. Look, this has been good. I've enjoyed talking to you, Kiana. But we go ahead before we actually get out of here. I want you to leave us with some words of advice for you talk to the women trying to get rid of the bag, or even men, just people in general, getting rid of the baggage.
I'm gonna talk to the people.
Yeah, talk to the people.
Talk to the people, baby, because let me tell you something. Just because you've been through it don't mean that you are broken and done. Ladies, just because you are single does not mean that you're not deserving, does not mean that you are not worthy, does not mean that you are not, capable. Put yourself together, take yourself on the date, get you a table +1 and put your handbag in that seat, sis. Do you. Do everything that you would do in and out of a relationship. Take care of you. But while you're single, make sure you pick up a hobby, start reading, learn how to trade stock, go ahead and buy you some cryptocurrency. Sis, learn how to pick up a skill, lay some some tile, do something so you'll be a better you. And if you are a wife, learn how to be a better wife, a praying wife. And as a single woman, learn how to pray too. But I'm just telling you, just because you are, single does not mean that you're less than, and women who are married don't mean that you're greater than. We are all going through, we all are broken. At the end of the day, you have to make a decision how broken you are going to remain. And fellas, same for you. Just because you didn't make it in the league, your money ain't right, or whatever it is that you may be holding on to, you are still worthy. You are still able. You are still capable. Maybe you can't wear the jersey, but maybe you can coach the jerseys. Activate your dream in a different way. Put yourself in position to win. If people around you are not saluting you, celebrating you, you need a new group of friends. Your friends should be pouring into you. And then guess what? Thank you, Lord, for that. And your friends should be pouring into you. And if you're around people who are take, guess what? They are not there for you. I want to remind you also, when you're looking outside the world, when you're looking at the world, oftentimes they say, look at the glass half full. And oftentimes they say, don't look at the glass half empty. But I'm going to tell you something. And what I'm about to tell you is going to sound very contradictory, but this is what I want you to know. When you're looking at yourself, always look at the glass half empty. And the reason why I'm saying half empty is because if you continue to pour and pour and pour and pour out of a half empty glass, eventually you have nothing else to pour. So you understand that. So if you look at the glass as half empty when it's in reference to you, you can say, I have no more, I can't give you anymore because all I have is half empty glass. But you can't have this saucer. They can have what has runneth over. Offer that opposed to your cup. Now, when you're looking at the world and the opportunities that are available to you, look at the glass as half full. Why? Because the glass can continue to be poured. It's all be poured into. It's all about perspective. Now, I'm not saying that it thank you, Father. I'm not saying that just because the glass is half empty or half full, life is terrible. But I am telling you to be selfish about your time and how much you do for others and how much you're willing to do. Because if they're not willing to do for you, you need to be selfish about your time and maintain some for yourself. That's it. So change your perspective in life will become so much easier. I tell my mother that every day. Change your perspective and watch how things unfold for you.
Perspective is everything. I mean, literally, it once again, even I have to talk to myself sometime, but perspective is everything. Like two people can be in the same situation, but they
see it very differently.
Really different. Yeah.
Yep.
So perspective is everything. I love it. I've enjoyed talking to you. Give us your social media one last time and where people can get this book at.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. And girl, you and your cat are hilarious to me. Y'all can follow me down to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All things social, I am the same. My name is Kiana Dancie. It's KIANA DANCIE. You can get the book on my website if you want an autograph copy. But you also can go to Target. You can go to Amazon. You can go any place that they sell books. You can click on it. You can Google the title, Bye Bye Bags, Laughing to Lighten the Load, where I discuss healing yourself whole through laughter. At the end of the day, we all been through something. We're all broken to some capacity, but you have to make a decision that you're going to not stay broken. Heal yourself whole. Come on.
Yes, I love it. All right. Thank you so much.